All right, let's talk about success. We're always told it's this super complicated lock that needs a whole bunch of keys, talent, money, connections, the whole shebang. But what if it's way, way simpler than that? Today, we're going to dive into this amazing piece of wisdom that says there are really only two keys you need to unlock pretty much any victory you're aiming for. So let's just start with that big question. What actually defines success? Is it having a genius-level IQ? Or is it all about getting a head start in life? I mean, we're kind of conditioned to think those things are everything, right? But the source we're looking at today has a totally different take on it. And this is it right here. Let me break down what this means. It says, if a person has hope and patience, it doesn't matter what their IQ is. It doesn't matter where they started from. If their hope is alive and they have that self-control, that patience to believe, I will get it done in the end, then that person will win. It's so simple, but think about it. That's a pretty profound statement that asks us to rethink everything we thought we knew.
So yeah, let's call this what it is, a completely different success formula. It's basically saying that winning isn't about what you're handed in life, but about what you decide to build inside yourself. We're going to unpack this piece by piece because there's a lot of power in this idea.
Here's the most important part. It's a massive shift in focus. It moves the power away from the external stuff, your background, your so-called natural abilities, and puts it squarely on the internal. It's all about the qualities you carry with you on the journey, not the baggage you might have started with. And honestly, that is incredibly empowering. What makes this quote so powerful is what it tells us to just ignore. It says to forget about society's usual yardsticks for success. We got to look beyond our IQ scores and our starting lines to find the things that truly matter. And this slide really lays it all out. On one side, you've got the stuff our society obsesses over, right? A high IQ, going to the best schools, where you come from. But the quote argues that's all secondary. The real game changers, the true determinants of who wins, are all internal, a living hope and an unshakable patience. And this right here is the best part of this whole philosophy. Think about it. You can't really change where you started, and your raw IQ is pretty much what it is. Those are variables you can't control. But hope and patience, those aren't variables at all. They're virtues. They're like muscles you can actually build, skills you can develop, no matter who you are or where you're from. Okay, so if these are things we can build, let's start with the first one, hope. Or, as it's said in the original Hindi, ummeed. And we're about to see that this is so much more than just crossing your fingers and wishful thinking. See, the kind of hope we're talking about here is an active force. It's a deep gut-level conviction that you will get there. It's that light you can still see at the end of the tunnel, even when that tunnel feels dark and super long and is full of stuff trying to stop you. It's about believing in a future that you can't even see yet. I absolutely love this line from the original quote, "Agar uski hope zinda hai," which means if their hope is alive. That phrasing is so perfect, right? It suggests hope isn't some static thing you just have. No, it's a living, breathing thing inside of you that you've got to protect and nurture and keep alive, especially when things get hard. So you got to ask yourself, is my hope alive? Now, hope is the fire for sure, but that fire needs a partner to actually do anything. And that brings us to the second key, patience. And it's interesting, the source uses two words here, the English patience and the Hindi word sanyam, which has this deeper meaning of self-control and restraint. Patience is kind of like the quiet partner to hope's loud fire. It's the discipline to just keep putting one foot in front of the other, even when you're not seeing results right away. It's that calm endurance that says, okay, this is tough, but I trust the process. I'm not going to quit. It's the grounding force that turns all that hopeful energy into actual, real progress over the long haul. And the quote literally gives us the script, the exact thought that goes through your head when you have patience. Main kar jaunga last mein. I will do it in the end. Notice that's not a question. It's a statement. It's a deep, deep self-assurance that you have what it takes to see things through to the very end and outlast any challenge that comes your way. So what happens when you put these two together? You've got a living hope and you've got unshakable patience. When these two forces combine, the quote tells us the outcome isn't just possible, it's pretty much inevitable. This is the path to victory, or JEET. And the process is laid out with this really powerful certainty. Step 1, you ignite that living hope, that active belief that you can succeed.
Step 2, you apply the disciplined self-control of patience to stick with it through the journey. And when you do those two things, the result is step 3, victory. It's not presented as a maybe, it's a direct consequence. Let's think of it this way, because this analogy is perfect. Hope is like the high-octane fuel that powers your ambition. But fuel sitting in a tank doesn't go anywhere. Patience is the powerful engine that takes that fuel and turns it into relentless forward motion. When you've got both of those working together, victory isn't just some possible destination, it's where the road is guaranteed to end. So really, the big takeaway from all this is a question we all have to ask ourselves. The formula is simple, but man, it isn't easy. It demands that we look inside, not outside, for the keys to our own success. Your victory is out there, waiting for you. The only real question is, are you cultivating the two virtues you need to go out and claim it?